Hello, Duranis here, and welcome back to Modded Minecraft. And as you can see, there's been a few changes around here. We're still living in a hole at the moment, which is not great, but it's definitely an improvement, and I'll speak to Flash later. So you can see here we've got the machines, and we've got a few extra machines here. So we've got the osmium compressor and the electrolytic separator, and I'm using this to create hydrogen, which is powering my jetpack. And I've created the armored jetpack here and the free runners from Mechanism. And basically the armored jetpack gives you armor that's equivalent, I think, to diamond armor, and the free runners basically give you feather falling and also the ability to sort of step up one high blocks like this. So that's pretty cool. They're not too expensive to make either. It's just sort of osmium and a couple of diamonds, I think. And the other things I made was the obsidian leggings and obsidian helmet, and I also have the obsidian chest piece and the boots and also the sword. And the reason I made all of that was because I was trying to go into one of the dungeons, the big towery dungeons that go down really deep, and trying to find an Enderman spawner. Someone else on the server, he has actually managed to find an Enderman spawner. He's got it all set up, and he's got a little farm for it, which is brilliant. Because at the moment, we still haven't found the stronghold, so no one's really looked for it yet, and I think that's something we'll probably end up doing together. So ender pearls are actually quite hard to get hold of, and you do need them for a ton of different things. So I really wanted to get a spawner set up for that. After getting my butt kicked quite a few times in the dungeon trying to find one and having no success, I basically made a soul shard and went over to Thor's farm and killed a whole bunch of them to get a tier 5 shard. So what I'm going to do today is set up an Enderman farm, just to farm these and get the ender pearls. Although in the process of getting that, I got quite a few ender pearls anyway. So the sword I was using really nice was the sharpness 5 and breaking 3, looting 3, soul stealer 5. It does 20.25 attack damage. And to compare, the Tinker's Construct sword that I've got here, which has a whole bunch of quartz applied to it, has 18 attack damage. So yeah, the obsidian sword with sharpness 5 on is pretty insane. So I'm going to probably make another one of them without all of the extra stats on, because I probably don't need them. Although I could probably just use that one. The soul stealer doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's basically the machinery I've got here. I've still got my small auto processing set up here. I've got a charge pad here just to charge up my boots. That's about it. I upgraded the smeltery here as well. Just put a few more rows on it. I'm not really using it for a whole lot anymore. I probably won't make any more Tinker's Construct tools. I've got a sort of a basic steel pickaxe just for mining at the moment. I've just been manually mining still. And yeah, tool forge is upgraded. And just really a bit more organisation, so I sort of know what's going on. This over here, if you've never seen it before, is for creating the soul shard. So basically you put the end stone around, then netherrack, and then glowstone in the middle, and then click that with a diamond, and you get a tier 0 to soul shard. And then basically you kill a mob, and then kill 1,024 of them to get tier 5. There's different tiers as well, but basically the tier 5 lets you control it with a redstone signal, which is really, really useful. Over here, I do have a very sort of ghetto setup here. I've got a creeper spawner and a skeleton spawner, which is under there. And down here I just have a very basic system with a steam dynamo and a grinder, and that's just really to get some mob essence, which I've been using for sort of, you convert that to XP, and I just wanted to have some on tap as well, which is actually full. I didn't realise that was full. That's pretty cool. And from that I've also got a whole bunch of chainmail, gold and armour, gold and iron armour, and the odd bit of diamond armour as well. And the reason for that is, if we take a quick peek in here, and it'd help if I could actually talk as well. This spawner here came from one of the dungeons, and you can see the skeleton on there's got armour on. So basically all the skeletons are spawning with armour, so you get a ton of armour drops. So I've been able to get quite a bit of gold and iron and steel, because you get steel from the chain when you melt it down in the smeltery. So that's pretty cool, but it was just a very temporary setup. I just wanted to get some mob essence, because I was going to use the auto spawner from MFR to make the Enderman, but then I realised we had soul shards, so I thought, right, that's much easier to do. And we'll take a quick run outside, and I'll just quickly show you what I've been doing out here. Oh yeah, we did also get a present from 4, which before I'd set all this up, but I didn't have any ender pearls, so he's dropped some ender pearls off, and some nice armour there as well. And this was what I was trying to use to get ender pearls, but these things take a year to grow. They're an absolute nightmare. I tried both on endstone and also on the fertilized dirt. Does grow faster on the endstone, but yeah, it takes, I think, maybe 10 in-game days if you get it at the right time. You can't use bone meal on it. You can use the watering can, but it'll only force it to the next growth stage if it can grow. There's a whole bunch of conditions on whether it can grow or not, and yeah, it's a nightmare. So set up a portal over here, which I'll quickly show that in a second. And tree farm is turned off for the moment because I've got a whole ton of wood. I did put in the mechanism factory here, which helped quite a bit. And I'll actually just chuck some more wood in there just to smelt up. And I got a fair bit of charcoal as well, which I'm probably never going to need, but it is handy to have it there. And up here you can see I've started building the main base. I've sort of got a few ideas. This might not be set in stone. I might change it, but I'm sort of thinking of having this sort of hexagon shape tower coming up, and then a dome on the top, and then having this linked to another smaller tower that's going onto the side of this. So it'll be sort of either a square or a circular building here, which will be used to go up and down, and it'll have catwalks going into the main building here, just so I don't have to have the elevators in this section. And then I'll have this going across over to this mountain over here, and have another building over here, and then also have it linked over to this part over here as well. So there'll be sort of bridges going between the two, maybe using the railcraft rails and things like that to sort of transport between the two. Could be quite fun. And yes, that's sort of the progress I've got so far. And if I just drop down here, I did set up a quick pathway in the Nether just to get back to spawn, and so people get to my base easier. I will set up the mechanism portals, not mechanism portals, the enhanced portals, I think they're called, later on, but apparently they only work if you're online. I'm just going to skip over here. So if I'm not online, people apparently can't use them to get to my base, so I've just linked it up to here, and this is just where the spawn portal is, and if we go in here, we'll get back to spawn. So, any time today. And yeah, this is spawn. So there's not a whole lot of spawn at the moment. We're all sort of busy just building up our own bases. There's just a few starting things here, a couple of starting farms, some chests for people to drop stuff in, and somewhere random things. That'd be where my I was going to say robot turtle is. I suppose it's a robot. So yeah, that's about it for the update. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to build an Enderman farm, just so I can start farming up some pearls and a few other bits. And I might actually use some ender generators. I've used these before, and they are really, really useful, especially when you've got a farm for ender pearls. And where are they? Here. So we've got ender generators, and you also now have basically upgraded versions of them, so it's the equivalent of having 6, 7, 8 in one. So it does the same thing, but same as having 8 blocks, but you can just put it into one, so a little less laggy and a little more compact. So I might make up some of them. Tested these in single player creative mode as well, and they work really, really well. And I was actually playing around with the culinary generator, and from a stack of pork chops you can get a stupid amount of RF from it. I can't remember how much it was. I think it's something like 5 million RF from a stack of cooked pork chops, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, let me head back here, and I'll be back when I've got a bit more building done. So, welcome back, and we've got our Enderman spawner set up here. There's the soul cage in there with the T5 shard, and we're using red net cable just to send a redstone signal to it so we can turn it on. We've got 4 grinders in there, and that basically covers this whole area at the bottom, and there's a little bit of overlap between them. So basically, as soon as they spawn, they should get killed more or less right away. I have found, even with 4 grinders though, it still doesn't kill them quick enough, because the T5 spawner spawns a ton of them. Over here we've got the mob essence, and I've actually got 2 drums filled up already, and I've not really used it a whole lot. I'm actually using the Ender IO cables for the power of the items and the fluid in this, and I do really like the Ender IO stuff, but it's expensive and it's a right pain to set up. So if we look on this, for example, it's just the fluid one. It's set to insert, and you can filter your fluids. But if we look over here where the items are, you have to have, if you want an item filter, so for example, if I want to filter what's going into where here, you have to have, let's click on the right thing, this little item field here, and it's only a hopper with 4 pieces of paper around it, which doesn't sound too much, but then if you've got a whole bunch of stuff that you want to filter, like if I want to filter on each one of these, that's a whole ton of iron that you need to be able to put a filter. And unlike the thermal expansion ones where you'd put the servo on here and it would control everything connected to it, this one you need a filter in each connected inventory, so you need one there, one there, one there, and one there. So it gets really expensive really quickly, so I'm going to try and find a nice alternative. Not too sure what that will be just yet, but I need to sort of play around with some of the other mods, really. We've got, how many generators? There's 9, and then there's 2 at the back, so there's 11 generators, which is kind of overkill for running the grinders. Did have 6 set up originally, which wasn't quite enough, and I'll probably switch this out to one of the upgraded ones that I showed before, so just 8 of them in a single block, and just to really pretty up more than anything else. And then I can actually set the filter on it as well, so I don't have to have 9 filters, I can just use the 1 filter. Just haven't really got around to making that yet. So at the moment, all the pearls should go into there first, and then it'll go into the barrel, and any sort of other items that aren't either the heads or the pearls should go into here. And for some reason they have been dropping dirt as well, and I'm not sure if they're spawning with dirt or what, because there's no dirt in there for them to pick up, so not too sure what's going on with that. So under here we've got the cables that are running. So the nice thing I do really like about the Ender IO pipes is that you can run all 3 pipes in one block. So here we've got the power and the items, and then if we look over here we actually have power, items and liquids all running through that single block, which is really, really cool. So if you want some neat wiring, it does look cool as well. It's really, really useful, but it is just really expensive, and it's a real pain. So like over here where we've got the grinder, you have to set up the filters for each room. So we've just got the inventory set to extract for the items, and again for the liquid, and for the power it's just set to insert, and all of them are redstone mode, always active. So for each one that you put, you have to set the always active and set the extract, etc, etc. So it's kind of a pain to set it all up, but it does look cool, which I suppose is a good thing. So yeah, that's about it for the Enderman spawner. I don't have to worry about getting Ender pearls anymore, and I might use these for more power generation over there, or for some other projects that I've got going on, because it's really easy to get these now, and I can maybe set up a B-space linked barrel here, so I can have Ender pearls wherever I need them. So it's quite good for a portable power system, maybe for setting up a digiminer or something like that. So yeah, I did try and pretty it up a little bit, just some chiseled bricks, and it looks okay. It looks a lot better than the rest of this base at the moment, and that's one of the things I've been thinking about, is what blocks I want to use for building that big tower on the top. And I'm sort of looking for blocks that are easy to mass produce and look quite cool. And one thing I have come across is the frosted bricks. Come on. Okay, just disappear on me completely. And NEI decides not to work at all. There we go. So frosty brick, it's basically 4 snow blocks and stone bricks. So all of these can be automatically produced from nothing, basically. So you can create cobble, you can smelt that to stone, and then auto-craft that to stone bricks. And you can create snow in a glacial precipitator, which just needs power. And I actually have a setup over here for this. So what I'm going to try and do is use Steve's Factory Manager for the auto-crafting. And I've got the glacial precipitator, the basic factory for smelting, and that's just a redstone receiver. And then we're going to try using the wind turbine to power this. So this takes 20 RF each, so I only need 40 RF. And I did test this earlier, and I think if I remember correctly, it gave us over 40 RF. Oh yeah, because it's actually showing in joules per tick. So hopefully this should be producing enough power. And I've just knocked a block out there just so it can see the sky. So I'm going to set this up now, and I might try and do the Steve's Manager bit on camera just because it's quite interesting. And Steve's Factory Manager even, is actually a really cool mod, and you can do a lot with it. But it's one of them that when you look at it the first time, it looks really confusing. So maybe I'll get all the blocks placed, and then we'll come back to show that. So yeah, I'll be back in a moment. So we're back, and we have all the basics set up here. So it seems to be not quite supplying enough power. It'll probably be okay. It's supplying more or less enough, so it'll probably just run a little bit slower. We can maybe just move that up a bit further, and it might just do enough to get enough power for that. But it's not too much of a problem. It's just going to be running passively in the background while I do other things, just to make building materials. So yeah, basically you have the inventory cables here connected to each of these barrels, and that's not good. Where did you come from? Anyway, yeah, inventory cables here connected to the barrels, and you've got the inventory manager here and a redstone receiver. The redstone receiver is basically so I can flip it on and off with a lever. At the back here, we've got the cobblestone generator. So if you've not seen this before, using the extra utilities transfer node and a weld interaction upgrade inside it, basically put water source on one side, lava on another, so it creates your standard sort of cobble generator. And then put the transfer node on the top of that, and it'll just keep pulling all of the cobble into there. So that should just keep this filled constantly. And then over here we have basically the same thing, but with the liquid transfer. So it's the same as what we had over with the steam dynamos. So just liquid transfer over infinite water source going into the glacial precipitator, and that's just constantly making snow. So that'll keep topped up, and yeah, that's all pretty cool. So what we have to do now is actually program this inventory manager. So to do this, the first step we need to do is to make stone bricks out of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a trigger, and if we click here, and the trigger is basically your starting point. So what it's going to what you're going to do to start the whole program off. So we're going to have the interval of 1 second. That's how often it will try and do this program. And we're going to have it on a redstone controlled. And when you hit redstone controlled, it pops up with this redstone receivers, redstone sides, etc. Redstone sides, at the moment we can leave it, if any, it doesn't really matter. You can have it set, if you've got more complicated stuff, you can have it set. If you have a redstone signal coming from one side, it will do one thing. If it comes from another side, it will do another. So you can do some quite complicated stuff with this. And this looks a lot like a programming thing that's used for kids called Scratch, which is a pretty good way to get into programming as well. It sort of gives you the idea of how to procedurally think about doing something. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, all we've done now is hit the redstone receivers, hit the redstone receiver block, and that'll tell it to look at this block. And that's pretty much all we need to do for the trigger. So let's move that up there. And you see at the bottom it's got on a high pulse, so if we had that, whenever I flipped the lever up, or if I had a button on there, whenever I pressed the button, it would trigger it once. But we're actually going to have it set for while high signal. So while that lever's on, it's going to run this program. So the next thing we want to do is create an input. And then on the input, we want to select the inventory. And we want the one that's next to the smelter. So if I hold shift over these, you can see the adjacent blocks and it will show you what it's connected to. So this barrel is connected to the smelter, so that's got the smooth stone in. So we want to select that. And the target, we want to pull from down to pull out the bottom of the barrel. And items, we want to pull out smooth stone. I don't know if you actually need to... okay, it lags a little bit when you're doing that. I don't know if we actually need to set a filter for the items. Whoa, okay, type in when it's lagging. Come on. Come on. Smooth. That's so annoying. Smooth. Okay, so I feel really stupid. All the years I've been playing Minecraft, always called it smooth stone, and it's in fact just called stone. So yeah, that's where I was going wrong. It is a bit laggy when you're typing in here. It's the same as when you're in NEI, but I guess where it's searching through the hundreds and hundreds of items, it just takes a little while just to bring them all up. So yeah, that's all set now. So the next thing we want to do, that's basically pulling the, when you have the trigger on, it's going to get the smooth stone. And then we want to craft with it. So we'll get the crafter and we'll just link that up. And then what we want to craft is, again, we want the stone. And again, it's going to lag a little bit, but there we go. And stone again, and stone again. And you can see here it's actually showing it's going to craft the stone bricks. So that's really, really cool. And priority, I think you can maybe... I don't know what the move before crafting, the craft before moving does. I'm assuming it actually crafts it before it pulls the items out of the barrel, so it doesn't have to have like the excess inventory set up. But I'm going to set the excess inventory to the barrel that has, yeah, the one with the cable on, so that one there. Excellent. And then we need to set an output. So the output, we're going to move down there. And the inventory again is going to be that one with the cable on. Let's just move that up so we can see it. So yeah, if you hold and shift, and yeah, that's the one with the cable. So we want to go to there and select that. And the target will select up, so it's doing it from the top of the barrel. Well, I don't think it matters with the better barrels. And whitelist, we want to put in stone bricks when it finally catches up. Anytime today, come on. And stone bricks. Excellent. So that's our first section set up. So basically this should craft these stone bricks. So if we press that, and yeah, crafts stone bricks. Excellent. So next thing we want to do is craft the frosted stone bricks. So to do that we need to craft these with these. So we're going to create a new trigger. I don't know if we can just copy these in some way. Create a command group. That sounds interesting. Group node. I'm going to play with this a lot more because there is a ton of stuff. Sign up data. Interesting. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff that you can do with this. So and the blocks are really quite cheap to make as well. We didn't need 2 of them. So yeah, trigger, connections on redstone signal, just like the other one. Redstone receivers, that one. And interval to 1 second again. And we're just basically doing exactly the same thing, but with the recipe for the frosted stones now. So we need another input. So we'll put the input there. And the inventory we want is that one and that one. So that should pull the snow from there and the stone from there. And the target will pull from the bottom. Again, I don't think it matters. And we want to get snow. And so slow, stone bricks. Wow, that's really slow. Come on. Stone bricks, excellent. And let's just move this over a little bit. And while high signal, pull that down to there. And then we want the crafter again, so pull that over here. And what we're crafting is, I've got to try and remember what it is now. I think it's the stone bricks in the middle. And again, we wait 5 hours for this to catch up. Yeah, so stone bricks in the middle, and then snow on the outside. So again, any time today. And it's not too bad. Once you've done it once, you can just click into it. And this should bring the frosty bricks. Excellent. So we can leave that as it is. And we want it to go into this one here. So that's all set up. And the last thing to do is just create the output for that. So create an output. And then we'll drag this down here. And inventories is this one. Target is the top, and items is frosted, and again wait 5 hours. No, that's not what I wanted. Frosted stone. What have I done wrong? Is it frosty brick? There we go. Excellent. And let me just check on these others that I've actually set that to whitelist. Don't need to on that one. On the input, whitelist, yeah. Okay, excellent. So in theory now, when I flip this on, it should create the frosty stone bricks and put them in here. So let's click that on. Excellent. So yeah, basically I can now leave that running in the background, and it'll just keep churning through, and as it gets the materials, it will make more frosty stone bricks, so then I can use them for building that tower up there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry if that's a little bit boring, but like I said, I wanted to sort of show how easy it was to do. It's a little bit fumbly there because it's really laggy, and it's sort of also the first time I've ever used it. So but yeah, hopefully you get the gist, and I'm definitely going to be using these a lot more because there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with that. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button, and yeah, see you again next time. Take care. Bye bye.